दृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ वर्स नंबर 11 पृथगाभासकूटस्थौ अमुख्यौ तत्र तत्त्ववित् पर्यायेण प्रयुङ्क्तेऽहं शब्दं लोके च वैदिके. So after introducing the subject matter of this Jivan Mukti through this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 4.4.12, now Vidyaranya gives a brief commentary on this verse, on this mantra rather, from verse number 3 to verse number 28. And first he picks up the word Purushaha from the mantra and explains. So Purushaha means a human being, a jiva. So he should know Atma. Purushaha Atmanam Vijaniyat. Vijaniyat means he should know. Atmanam, he should know the Atma. Human being is he should know the Atma. And so human being or Jiva is consisting of two portions, Chit and Chidabhasa. And there is no pure Chidabhasa as we discussed in previous class. Because Chidabhasa is a Mithya and Mithya cannot exist independent of Satyam. Mithya is always non-separate from the Satyam. And so where the Mithya is, there itself the Satyam is, and therefore it is a mixture of Satya and Mithya. So Jiva, which is a Chidabhasa, has a basis, Adhishthanam, Chit, that also is there. So Jiva is a mixture. Purusha is a mixture of both Satyam and Mithya, Chit and Chidabhasa. Anyway, and so a living being, any living being, Jiva means a living being. Jivati iti Jiva hai. So any living being is a mixture all the time. A inert thing is not a mixture. Inert thing we should know, right? Inert thing cannot be a mixture. Inert thing is consciousness, you can say, or Sat, whatever you want to say. So Kevalam Chit. Yeah, Kevala Chit, only Chit. Chidabhasa means a living being, a very conscious being. When we say it proves Chidabhasa. But then what is the difference between this living being and inert? Because that subtle body, that's where the consciousness manifests, and that is called Chidabhasa. So that is why a living being is a mixture. A inert thing we cannot call it as a mixture. So, but Swamiji, there also Nama Rupa is there. That is fine. I am talking about Chidabhasa and Chit. There also Nama Rupa is there, Swamiji, and then Adhishthanam Chit is there. So that is also a mixture. Okay, but I am talking about Chidabhasa and Chit. The Chidabhasa itself proves it is a living being. So anyway, so any living being is a mixture of both, and so he is called Purusha. A living being is called Purusha or Jiva. And then Vidyaranya says, when mixture focuses on this Chidabhasa, then I am samsari. which is a fact becomes, because samsari travels from sharira to sharira, whereas on the other hand, when focus is on the chit, when definitely chit part, ignoring this chidabhasa, then well he says, I am mukta, I am Brahman, I am asamsari. So this is how. So how I look upon myself depends upon whether I am a chidabhasa pradhana or I am a chit pradhana, because it's a mixture. And so then question is, who says aham brahmasmi? Chidabhasa cannot say I am aham brahmasmi. Chidabhasa is a limited entity, jiva, a living being, jiva. He mentions also like this, I am. So definitely he is a very limited entity. So Chidabhasa cannot say I am Brahman, I am all pervading. Then Chit also cannot say. Chit cannot say anything. Why aham brahmasmi? Let alone aham brahmasmi. Chit can't say anything. And therefore Chidabhasa cannot say, Chit also cannot say. Therefore we say aham brahmasmi is told by the mixture. Aham brahmasmi is told by the mixture. And then to explain that, Vidyaranya introduced three meanings of word aham. And then first meaning we already saw in the verse number 10. First meaning he refers to a mixture. And the word aham is employed. It indicates aham is equal to mixture, but employed by an ignorant person. So there is popular among all ignorant person. They also use word aham, but it refers to mixture only. But ignorant person doesn't know it is a mixture. Everywhere it is mixture. Jnani also says aham brahmasmi, means it's a mixture. But of course, we'll see the difference there. Right now, the very primary meaning of the aham, very popularly known, popularly used, this word aham by all, has a one meaning. Primary meaning is mixture. But he doesn't know. Being ignorant, he doesn't know it's a mixture. If it is satyamithya mixture, where is the question? It's over. When you know it is what is satyam, what is mithya, that viveka is there, and therefore you know the mixture is a mixture. Well, work is over of this life. But he doesn't know, even though it is a mixture, but he doesn't know. That's all. So that's the primary meaning. And therefore, so he can't say aham brahmasmi because he doesn't know it's a mixture. So they use a word aham, these ignorant people use a word aham for that indiscriminate mixture, even without knowing it is a mixture. And like a ignorant person, and we give an example, like ignorant person says this is silver. There it's a mixture, but he doesn't know. And therefore he says it is a mixture. He doesn't say shell silver. If he says it is shell silver, wow, he has done a discrimination. When ignorant person says it is a rope snake, oh, kya baat hai? Then you are no more ignorant. You are a knowledgeable. When you say rope snake instead of this is snake, instead of that he says this is rope snake. Well, he is a knowledgeable because he knows the rope. Adhishtanam rope, satyam rope, he knows. He doesn't know. So same way shell silver. If he says, oh, this is shell silver, he knows. If he says this is silver, means he doesn't know. It's a mixture, but he doesn't know. That's what I mean. That is, we should be very, this is the core portion of the Vedanta. Very core portion. Because ahankara, atma, viveka, if it is missed, Vedanta is just, it becomes like a skeleton, really. This is the thing to be done. Ahankara, atma, viveka, that's called drugdrishya viveka. That is drugdrishya viveka. This is very important to do. And so we should know what is the status of an ignorant person. Mixture is everywhere. For jnani, ajnani, everywhere. Where is our focus? That's a criteria. If you have a knowledge of a Vedanta, your focus is different. Knowing mixture as a mixture, you can focus on either of that. But if you don't know mixture as a mixture, where is the question of focusing? And that's a problem. So he is explaining that by word aham, primary meaning of the word aham, used by the ignorant person for the mixture, but he doesn't know it as a mixture. Okay. So this is what we saw in verse number 10. And in verse number 10, very nicely it has been, in verse 11, well, he says, Pruthak abhasa kutasthau amukhyau tatra tattvavit. In verse number 10, he said, Bhave eki bhuya bhaven mukhyah tatra mudaihi prayujyate. So, this mudaihi prayujyate, by the ignorant person, what aham is used for in a mukhya artha, in a primary meaning, for a mixture, but not knowing as a mixture. Eki bhuya means he has done a dhyasa on this adhishthanam, and he takes that adhishthanam, he doesn't know adhishthanam as such, and he takes it as a ahankara or a jiva himself. Same way, like this is snake, he takes it as just a snake. He doesn't know that there is a rope, there is a mixture, and rope is there, which is satyam, and this is just a abhasa, mithya, snake. He doesn't know. Same way here also. So eki bhuya. So that's how eki bhuya means, well, by identifying this ahankara with the atma. So he doesn't know the atma is there, which is satyam. He doesn't know the adhisthana. And now the secondary meanings. And here, that is verse 11 says, Pruthak abhasa kutastha amukhyau. Amukhyau. Mukhya means primary meaning. Amukhyam means secondary meaning. So, and amukhyau, it's a dual. So there are two secondary meanings of word aham. Total three meanings of the word aham. Primary meaning, which is used by this ignorant person, and that is the mixture only, and he doesn't know the mixture. Whereas now two secondary meanings of the word aham, used by whom? Well, by wise people. Wise people use it, because wise people never mix it up two. And so, because they are wise, they have done that chit chidabhasa viveka, very important, right? And it's a part of atma and atma viveka only. And he's intensely aware of, well, this mixture. He has done the separation of two, satyam chit and mithya chidabhasa. They have done a separation. A mixture has been understood as a mixture. One mixture is not understood as a mixture, well, means there is adhyasa, and that is by ignorant person. Mixture is known as a mixture of satyamithya, chit chidabhasa, atmanatma. Well, they are wise people. And so word aham is used in a secondary sense, well, by these wise people, knowing the mixture as a mixture. What is the basis for knowing the mixture as a mixture? Well, jnanam. Right? That's how they are wise. How did they get jnanam? Shravan manan nididhyasana. And so, from now, after doing that, well, now it is impossible for him to use word aham as a mixture. Either he refers to chidabhasa in a certain situation, either he refers to chit, because they know it's a mixture. So, sometime he refers to chidabhasa, sometime he refers to chit. Okay, when will he refer to chit part, and when will he refer to chidabhasa? For aham. He takes aham, he also uses word aham. Sometime he refers to chidabhasa. Sometime he uses word aham for chit. When will he uses word aham for chidabhasa and aham for chit? Well, okay. So that's the answer has been given, that in all worldly transactions, he uses the word loke, if you can see in the verse number 11, in the second line, loke, cha vaidike. So two different situations. So in all worldly transactions, well, naturally, well, if somebody asks that person, wise person, that you are a disciple of which teacher, etc. So he won't say na anta pragnam, na bahish pragnam, na ubhayata pragnam. Oh, I am satyam jnanam anantam brahma. That kind of, he won't say that. He will say, I am a disciple of so and so. I studied with him. He gave me sannyasa. He narrates, and we can understand very well. He uses that I refers to what? Chidabhasa. Very simple. So in all worldly transactions, well, even in the celebrations also. Suppose his disciples are celebrating some Jayanti, right? Shashtyabda Purti and what not. So silver jubilee and that jubilee, any Jayanti, I mean. Well, definitely, it's all Vyavara. So Laukika or Loke. So definitely he whenever he in that Vyavara, when he uses the word aham, I, he is very clear. He is using for Chidabhasa. And when such a Jnani comes to the class and teaches, and he teaches, suppose a Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi, etc., then he really mean it. When he says Aham Brahmasmi, he mean it. I mean, he's clear that I am Brahman. Not for the sake of not for the sake of just teaching he is using. He knows clearly that Aham Brahmasmi. So there also he is using the word I. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. So there I is used, Aham word is used for Chit, not for Chidabhasa. So Loke Vaidike. So there are two different situations. So that's what he says. Pruthak Abhasa Kuthasthau Amukhyau. So Amukhyau, these are the two different secondary meanings. What are they? Well, Pruthak Chidabhasa, Pruthak Kutastha. In these two meanings, well, Pruthak, he uses separately for Chidabhasa in one situation, in Vyavara, and in a class, or suppose he is doing a meditation, and aham, suppose he is thinking of. Well, he is, that there the aham is just a Brahman, Chit. And so in these two different meanings, Chidabhasa and Chit, Tattvavit Prayungte, Jnani uses the word aham in two different senses. Either for Chidabhasa, either for Chit, because he knows the mixture as a mixture. And Ajnani also, when he says I, it is a mixture. It is a mixture because Chidabhasa is there, aham as a Chidabhasa, but he doesn't know as a mixture. When Mithya Chidabhasa is there, definitely Chit is right there, but he doesn't know. So Jnani uses word aham in the meaning of Pruthak. Pruthak means Kevalam, pure Chidabhasa. And that separation from Chit is not done physically, but cognitively. So he has done a cognitive separation, well, due to gaining jnanam, shravanam, nidhyasanam. He could do cognitive separation, viveka, he could do that. And depending upon the situation, he uses the word aham, respectively. So aham shabdaha, well, so he says here, aham shabdam prayungte, well, so he utters, speaks word aham, lokecha vaidikecha, during worldly transactions or shastriya transactions, I mean class, etc. Paryayena, in that order. See what order you can see in the first line, Pruthak Abhasa Kutasthau Amukhyau. And aham shabdaha paryayena prayungte. So, lokecha vaidikecha. So you take loka and vaidika. In loka he uses the word abhasa, right? Abhasa is first. Loke also is first. So that is the order. So in a loka means in a vyavara, he uses the word aham shabdam. So this aham shabda he uses for abhasa. Now second one is a kutastha. Same way here, second one is a vaidika. So in a vaidika means in a class, etc. While he is teaching Upanishad, etc. Well, he uses the word aham again, but for kutastha. So paryayanam is kramena. In that order we have to take. Abhasa is mentioned first and loke is mentioned first. So accordingly, kutastha is mentioned second, vaidika is mentioned second. So that way we have to take. So when Jnani says aham brahmasmi, aham refers to only kutastha. When he says, well, I will merge into Ishvara, suppose he says, he won't say like that. But he says, well, at the time of, when the prarabdha is over, at the time of death, I will merge into Ishvara. Suppose he says, well, then what we should understand? He is referring, that I is kutastha or what? No. Kutastha, there is no merger. Kutastha can never merge, which is Satyam can never merge. So therefore, we have to understand. Abhaditam Satyam, which can never be, there is no question of merging, right? So, when he says aham, I will merge into Ishvara, etc. at the time of death, which I, abhasa or kutastha? Abhasa. Simple. Because something merges into something, where kutastha is one alone, all pervading Brahman. And that too, there is a question of a merging. So, it is question of this Shariratraya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam. Well, this Chidabhasa alone merges into Prapanchatraya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam Ishvara. And so, that's how, this is called Videha Mukti. This is Videha Mukti. He says, I will merge into Ishvara at the time of death. There the Chidabhasa only. And then when Chidabhasa merges into Ishvara, Vyashti into Samashti. That is called Videha Mukti. So Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti both are from the standpoint of Chidabhasa. From the standpoint of Chit, Nitya Mukti. Because there is no question of that, because Chit means free. That's all. What is all pervading is free, which pervades even time, which pervades space. Time limits something. Space limits something. An object limits something. When you say, I pervade, I am a Chit, Kutastha, Brahman, pervades time, space, and everything, means what? Very truth of the time, truth of the space, truth of every object. So there is a question of a factor which limits Chit. That's how it is limitless. And therefore, we should understand. And therefore, which does not, therefore it is not bound by time, space or anything. And therefore it is Nitya Muktaha. Atma is Nitya Mukta. Atma by nature is free. Chit is free. That is, so real Mukti is this, to know that I am ever free. From the standpoint of Chidabhasa, we say, oh, now I am Jivan Mukta. Oh, earlier Chidabhasa was bound. Bound means having ignorance and taking Chidabhasa as a real. Now he says, well, I am Brahman. So from the standpoint of Chidabhasa, who was ignorant before and now have a knowledge, from the Chidabhasa standpoint, even he can say, he doesn't say, but he can say, I am a Jnani, like that. He can say, I am Jnani, I am Ajnani. Well, that's both from the standpoint of Chidabhasa. I will merge into Ishvara, Videha Mukti, etc. is also from the standpoint of Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa merges into the total, Vyashti, merges into total. So this is how Aham Brahmasmi, you were asking a question of student, who says Aham Brahmasmi? Well, it's a mixture. Word Aham is used by this Jnani. When he says Aham Brahmasmi, he has used this word Aham in a secondary sense, referring to Chit from the mixture, because he knows it's a mixture. Clear? Is it clear? And therefore, this is very important portion. This discussion will not come again. And so, but why are you saying secondary meaning secondary? Because it is not a primary meaning. Primary meaning of the word I is popular all over the world, not in the sense of Brahman. Otherwise, I will not have any job to talk to. If everyone says I am Brahman, whoever is born says I am Brahman, where is that question of birth itself won't be there. So the popular meaning, the primary meaning of word Aham is Chidabhasa, Jiva only, individual only. I means individual. But this, if you do that Bhagatyaga, knowing the mixture and removing what? Mithya portion. Cognitively. Because that's a non-separation. Mithya cannot be separated physically. So, Mithya is understood as a Mithya. That's all. And so, you discount that. Well, that is called Bhagasya Tyaga. So, and then you take Chit now out of the mixture by negating this Mithya. So, that is a Lakshyartha, because you did the Lakshana of a Bhagatyaga. And therefore, Lakshyartha is always a secondary. It's a secondary. And in that, as I told you, sometimes they say Lakshana means an indicator and all that. It's not, we should not think of that sense. Pujya Swamiji used to always say, Lakshana means you understand something else. That's all. Let the people use the word in a primary sense. It's a problem of a people. So for word Aham, they use for a Jiva, etc. But for word Aham, you understand it as a Brahman, then you have done a Lakshana and taken Lakshya. Like when I use the word pot, then you can take the word pot means that pot, that object. Well, that's a primary meaning. But you utter a word pot and I take it as a clay. That's a lakshana. That is called lakshana. This is lakshartha. So what is the lakshartha of a word pot? Clay. This is simple. No indicator and pointer and something. No signpost or nothing. Just understood. Yeah. So, but there, what is a lakshana? You said clay, and so you have understood clay. Means you said it is lakshana, and you have taken lakshartha as a clay. Bhagat se tyaga. I have removed that name and form from my mind, which is mithya. Pot, name and form. Then only I can understand it as a mithya. And taken satya, clay as a satyam. So that's everywhere bhagat tyaga. Because always mithya satyam will be there together. And it will never be understood as a mixture by ignorant person. This is a mixture is understood only by Vedanta. Because Vedanta gives you a knowledge of what is satyam, what is mithya. That's how it is. Let's go to verse number 12. लौकिक व्यवहारेऽहं गच्छामीत्यादिके बुधः विविच्यैव चिदाभासं कूटस्थात्तं विवक्षति. So Buddha, this wise person, laukika vyavhare, during this worldly transactions, gacchami means aham gacchami, I am going. Well, he says I am going to take the class. Suppose, they're talking about jnani. So Buddha means this wise person. In the worldly transactions, he uses like these words. Aham gacchami, I am going to this class, etc. Well, he refers to what? Chidabhasam vivakshati. Bhaktum ichchati. Well, he refers to Chidabhasa only. Chidabhasa only can go. This is very simple to understand. When he says, I will go to the classroom, I will go to the hall, definitely, Chit cannot go. It's all pervading. And so mixture also cannot go. Swamiji, mixture goes. Mixture cannot go. Mixture goes means both goes. So means Chidabhasa also go from his room to the classroom and Chit also goes along. Mixture also cannot go. Chit also cannot go. Only Chidabhasa goes. Only Chidabhasa goes. That's how it is. When you take this bucket of water in this, when there is sunshine, you take a bucket of water outside and from your room to the temple. Suppose you want to do abhisheka on Lord Shiva, and you take that bucket, and there is full sun on above your head, and definitely there is a pratibimba. Now what is moving? What is moving? Sun doesn't move, and mixture. Somebody, sun plus reflected sun, both move. Sun never moves, so don't say mixture moves. Sun alone, no, that also doesn't move. Then what moves? Reflection moves. Because reflecting medium goes, so reflection moves. So Sukshma Sharira moves. After death. That let's not talk about that right now. But Aham Gacchami, when he says, definitely physical body, etc., goes. And well, Chidabhasa is there in this medium through Sukshma Sharira. Of course, this body is also conscious. So he says, well, I am going. So, mixture cannot go, Chit cannot go, only Chidabhasa goes. He knows this. When I say I go to the class, well, suppose if I don't know this is a mixture of Chit and Chidabhasa, I think this Chidabhasa, I even don't know this is Chidabhasa. I feel that I am individual, which is Satyam, and that only go. That's how it is. So, Kutasthat tam Chidabhasam vivichya. See, Buddha, this wise person, vivichya, intellectually separates. What? Kutasthat tam. Tam means Chidabhasam. He intellectually separates. There's a viveka of a separating Kutastha from this Chidabhasa, and he says that. In his mind is clear. Aham Gacchami, when he says, he knows this Ahankara only moves. Chidabhasa moves. Why should he do this? Because Gacchami can't be applied to this Kutastha. And so how can I use that? Well, this kind of a separation Ajnani cannot do. And so he is not even aware of that it is a mixture. So only this Jnani knows, and therefore He intellectually separates and he has a vivaksha. He refers only to Chidabhasa. Vivaksha means a reference. Vaktumicha, we say, means he refers. Tam vivakshati. So after separating, he intends to refer keval Chidabhasa. Kevala Chidabhasam vaktum ichchati. Same way, many things. I mean, he is talking to someone and he says, okay, I will come for a bhiksha to your place on so and so date, and talking to that person. And then third person comes and listen. He has just listened Mahavakya in the class. And he comes out, this teacher comes out, and one of the student comes out, and the student tells to teacher that Swamiji, when are you coming to for a bhiksha? Suppose, Puja Swamiji, just imagine situation. And Puja Swamiji says, well, I will come on so and so date. Then the second student which has come out of the class is saying, Swamiji, are you not Brahman? Why are you talking that to you? I am coming to the Brahman, of all pervading Brahman. Where will it go, etc., etc. So basically, well, in his mind he is clear. But he refers only to this Chidabhasa out of the mixture. Clear separation. That's called Viveka. Anyway, so this is regarding Vyavara. Now in verse 13, he refers to Shastri Vyavara. Asangoham chidatmaham iti shastriya drashtitah aham shabdam prayunteyam kutasthe kevale buddha. Well, when wise person uses the word aham in a shastriya drashtitah, in a Vedanta class or at the time of meditation, etc., well, he says, Asangoham, Chidatmaham, Chidatmaham. I am Chaitanyam, pure consciousness, Asangoham. Well, I am Asangaha. So, I mean, his intention, when he uses the word aham, well, his intention is, he refers to Kutastha. Because Chidabhasa is never Asanga. Jnani's Chidabhasa also is never Asanga. Why? Because basically Chidabhasa means it is connected to the mind. The very mind which is aham vritti, where the consciousness manifests, we call Chidabhasa. And therefore, Chidabhasa is always connected to the medium, definitely. Chidabhasa is connected to the mind. Chidabhasa is connected to aham vritti, which is mind. And so Chidabhasa is connected to the mind, and therefore there is a question of a asanga. Asanga means no connection to anything. And this is Chidabhasa is connected to the mind, mind well is connected to the body is connected to other people around. And therefore, basically, a Jnani or Ajnani, Chidabhasa is always having a Sangha, definitely. But so when he says Aham Asangaha, then definitely that word I used by a Jnani, it refers to Kutastha only. Asanga means Kutastha. So Aham Shabdam Prayumte Shastriya Drashtitah Aham. So this word I he uses for Kutastha. When he says Aham Asangaha, Aham Chidatma, etc., while he uses the word Aham only for the Kutastha portion of the mixture. Vivichya, how he uses, you said it is a mixture. Yeah, but he knows it's a mixture of a Satyam and Mithya. And so Vivichya means having separated Chidabhasa from Kutastha. And that separation is done only cognitively. And since Chidabhasa, one cannot be free from Chidabhasa at any time. In a Nirvikalpaka Samadhi also, Chidabhasa is there. So, Nana Swamiji, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Chidabhasa goes away. Anytime Chidabhasa goes away, he is not a living being. He is an inert. He is a stone. Chidabhasa goes away means not a living being. If a Nirvikalpa Samadhi done by the yogi who is alive, definitely Chidabhasa is there. In a deep sleep state, Chidabhasa is there. Maybe unmanifest, that's what we are saying. Chidabhasa, one cannot be free from Chidabhasa till Videha Mukti. Without Videha Mukti, well, definitely Chidabhasa merges into the total. Vesti merges into Samashti. So, that is how, because the medium merges. Basically, these three bodies merges. The Karana Sharira merges into Maya, Sukshma Sharira merges into the subtle world, subtle Prapancha, Sukshma Prapancha, gross body merges into the five elements, that gross elements. So, Sthula Prapancha. And therefore, medium doesn't remain, so how will Chidabhasa will remain? So, Videha Mukti is the one where Chidabhasa merges. Till then, it will be there. So, in Nirvikalpa Samadhi also, it is there. Well, in fact, otherwise, how will he says that I am Kevalaha Purusha? Yogis say like this, right? Purusha Prakriti Viveka they do. And all Prakriti Badha. So, including mind and everything, they say we have negated everything. And I am pure consciousness. To say I am pure consciousness, that where I am, definitely is what? Is related to mind or what? It is related to the mind. And therefore, Chidabhasa cannot go away. In any case, it cannot go away. And therefore, in Nirvikalpa Samadhi also, if Chit alone is there, he never experiences Aham Chit Asmi. So, when any time Chidabhasa is gone away, it becomes Achetana Vastu. Chetana Chetana Bheda will be based on Chidabhasa. Chetana Chetana Bheda is based on Chidabhasa only. So at no time pure Chit is possible. So pure Chit is in terms of just understanding. Understanding Chidabhasa is mithya. From the mixture of Chit and Chidabhasa is understanding of a pure Chit. Nothing else. Understanding something which you experience as a mithya, just an appearance. Well, that's enough. That is the understanding of pure Chit. Anyway, so Kevalam Kutasthe Buddha Prayungte. Well, so Kevalam Kutasthe Aham Shabdaha. This word I, Aham, is used by this Buddha. So by the Jnani uses, Prayungte means uses. But in sense of Kevalam Kutasthe, Kutastha Vishay, Vishay Saptami. For pure Kutastha, for pure consciousness, he uses word. Oh, pure consciousness means Chidabhasa has gone. No. That's what I was saying. No. And so it is there, but he understood it as a mithya appearance. And in which context? Shastriya Drishtitah. Well, so Shastriya Drishtitah means Shastriya Vyavara, means class, etc. Or doing Nididhyasanam, etc. Uses word this Ahamasangaha, etc., etc. Such a Vyavara. Ahamasangaha, Chidatmaham, etc. Such a Vyavara. In that word Aham, used by the Jnani for in the sense of Kutastha only. Pure Kutastha, we can say. But Chidabhasa is there, but he understands it as a mithya. So now in verse 11, the two different contexts have been shown, right? Loke and Vaidike. But Aham is used by Jnani in secondary sense in two different situations differently. And what are they? He explained in 12 and 13. In 12, he explained the word Loke. In Vyavara, word Aham is used for a Chidabhasa only by a Jnani, understanding mixture as a mixture. Whereas in verse 13, he has shown Vaidike, means in a Shastriya Vyavara. Well, same Jnani uses the word Aham for Kutastha, out of the mixture. And that is also secondary. Clear? So, verse number 10, word Aham has a three meaning. Well, and he explained all the three. Well, ignorant person knows Aham as a as a mixture, but he doesn't know it's as a mixture. And so what Aham means a mixture used by a Ajnani, ignorant people. And in a Mukhyartha, in a primary meaning, and everyone uses popular meaning, direct meaning. What Aham means this, individual, Jiva, mixture. And Jnani uses word Aham for this too, basically. Either Chidabhasa or Chit. And what he does a Lakshana, Bhagatyaga Lakshana. When he says, I am coming there, I will come in your to your home for a bhiksha, all this, when there also he does a bhagatyag lakshana. He keeps away chit, and he refers to, because chit doesn't move at all. Mixture does not move, and so he refers to only chidabhasa. So there also bhagatyaga lakshana. When he says, I will come to the class, this, that, etc. I will read the book and tell you, etc. All this, he refers only chidabhasa, doing bhagatyaga lakshana in the mixture. And that is lakshyartha. And in Shastriya Vyavahara, again he uses the word aham in the sense of kutastha. There also bhagatyaga lakshana. There he removes this, he keeps away this chidabhasa and refers aham asangha, etc. So there also word aham is used in the sense of this kutastha. And both are lakshyartha. Bhagatyaga lakshana is done in both the case, right, out of the mixture. This is how we have to understand. So beautiful. This kind of a discussion I have never found anywhere. Entire Brahma Sutra also I don't find such discussion, neither in any Upanishad, Bhashyam, anywhere. But this is a, this is Vidyaranya's uniqueness. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.